Welcome, WordPress user. I'm in my test account today to show you a little bit more about managing users on your WordPress site. As an administrative user, you have access to all of the settings in your WordPress dashboard, including user management. That's why you have to be careful about giving too many people access as an administrator because they can grant other people access to the site, they can remove administrative users, and do other changes to the site. As the site owner, you should have administrative access so that you can manage all of these settings, including adding new users. So you'll notice I've got users highlighted from the dashboard, and I'm going to click on Add New. If you have someone who is going to manage content on your site, it's important to give them their own user account with their own username and password rather than giving them access to your account on the site. They should have their own. That way, when they no longer need access to the site, you can go in and change their role to something lower, or you can just delete their access altogether without having to make changes to your own access on the site. The two fields that are required are username and email, and you can use someone's email as their username instead of giving them a separate name. That's entirely up to you. If they're going to contribute content to your site, it's a nice idea to identify them by first, last name, and perhaps their website if they're going to be a guest contributor to the site. The default level of access is as a subscriber. That's someone who can read content on the site and they can receive notifications when you have new posts on the site. You can also reach out to them through some of the tools in WordPress to send them messages, but they can't make any changes on the site. Someone who is set up as a contributor or an author may be given limited access to make limited changes on the site. For example, if you're using a membership directory, someone who's set up as an author would be able to go in and make changes to their own listing in the directory, but nothing else on the site and nobody else's content. Someone who's set up as an editor has additional access to edit content that's posted by other people, to manage your media library and things in the library, to make changes to appearance settings on the site. They have a level of access that allows them to create blog posts and just manage some of the content on the site without having access to everything. They can't manage users, they can't give themselves administrator access, they can't make certain changes on the site. Only an administrator can upload the plugins, change your theme, and do some of those other changes that a designer such as myself needs to do to help manage your site. So if you're adding a new administrator, you can just click that role. When you click on Show Password, that's going to show the strong password that WordPress has assigned to this account. I like to copy and paste this password into a password manager such as Dashlane. I save it in a secure note, and then I can share that secure note with someone who sets up Dashlane and allows me to share secure notes with them. That's one of the better ways of sharing passwords without doing it through an unencrypted or insecure method such as email. I would recommend a password manager to everyone. If you do need to share this password with someone and you can't read it to them over the phone, then you could perhaps copy half the password or just a portion of the password and send only a portion of the password through email, and then maybe call them with the rest of the password or send half of it through a text. You just want to make sure that you don't send a username and a password directly through email to someone. That's just not a recommended method and it's not very secure. You can also have WordPress send the user an email saying that they've been given access to your site and giving them a link to reset their password. So if you don't need to save or manage this password for somebody, then you could make a copy of it and save it securely, but then leave this option checked and allow them to set their own password. If you want to control passwords, then you need to uncheck this option when you save the user so that it doesn't send an email to them. But if you're going to allow them to reset their password, leave the default setting checked. Once you've filled out all of the information on here, you just click Add New User and you are ready to go.